Okay, gentlemen, I give you instructions downstairs. Decides what you're going to say abajo. El golpe here, punch here is fine. Trunks are both a little high. Están un poquito altos los calzones. Dense la mano y buena suerte. Good luck to both of you.
Hovhannesyan's manager, Sergio, said, hey, I've seen Cruz fight. I hate his style. He's an awkward guy. He comes in with his head, works hard, throws over 100 punches around, and awkward, stressing awkward. You know something about awkward fighters.
Yeah, I love to be awkward myself. I think it pisses off the opponents. They know what to expect if you're just standing there and jabbing and throwing a right hand. But when it comes to Cristobal, I think he just needs to be himself. Come in with the head, use the elbows, do whatever he needs to do to win.
Now, Cruz has been involved in head clashes. He's cut badly over his left eye in a 2009 title defense. That went into the books as a technical draw.
Cristobal kind of reminds me of a road warrior. This guy goes everywhere. He doesn't really mind going to the hometown of undefeated fighters. He doesn't care about their records. He just does his thing. He's a hard puncher, and he's always there for the upset.
You know, you made the comment earlier when we were preparing for this fight of saying, you know, it's like guys like this, guys that find success later in life, you have an appreciation for, like a Glenn Johnson.
Absolutely, because they put in so much work. As boxers, we really go through our entire career sometimes not getting recognized. And a guy like this who's been fighting, he's 34 years old, I'm sure he has a family and kids, and he's not being recognized, but he's training every day in the gym, sweating, wanting to become a champion, and he did become a champion.
Lost 4 out of 5 fights in September 2003 through the summer of 04. Lost 4 out of 6 fights from July 06 to May 07, and then lands himself in title contention and wins the IBF featherweight title in October of 2008.
It's really incredible, Joe. You get a lot of young Mexicans turning pro in Mexico just for the money and because they're good at what they do. 14, 15 years old. Sometimes they find success early. Most of the time, they find it late. In the case of Cruz here, he found it late, and he has a true Rocky story. Right now, so far from El Lancandon, by the way, that's Cruz's nickname. It means resilient, tough Indian or Native American. He's not really being himself yet. He's actually composed. I expected him to be a little bit more forward and come in to fight more, making it an ugly and dirty fight. But I think he must be feeling the power from the Lionheart Hovhannesyan.
Here comes Hovhannesyan to the inside as Raul Caiz wants to see them work out of that middle ground. And he's going to warn Art for pushing off there. So Caiz trying to take control of things early on here. Both men testing that jab, a little range finding here. Just missed with that right hand, did Cruz. As we come to the end of round number 1, the recent title is Cristobal Cruz and Art Hovhannesyan. More to come, stay with us. Friday night fights in Santa Ynez, California. Joe Tessitore ringside with Sergio Mora, who's filling in for Teddy Atlas. Teddy in Russia this week, training Alexander Povetkin for his upcoming fight with Ruslan Shagayev. And now this is the nice Cristobal Cruz that you thought you would see, more the aggressor, and Hovhannesyan trying to catch him coming forward that time.
This is the fight I expected in the first round. That right hand landed solid, and he landed another one after that. Hovhannesyan took it well, though, but I like the fact that he's starting to get more aggressive, Cruz is.
It's a feel him out first round. Not the norm for these two. Remember, Hovhannesyan is coming off an impressive June 10th TKO win over Archie Ray Marquez. He scored 4 knockdowns in that fight. Cruz never finds himself being too bashful in there, especially coming forward with his head and awkward motions like he just did that time with that surging left hand.
Hovhannesyan is really poised. He has power in both hands. He's looking to counter and watch that reckless jumping in style by Cruz. But Cruz has been doing this a long time. I'm sure that he knows what counters are coming. I think, if anything, Hovhannesyan needs to not be so predictable. He needs to do a little bit of his own different lunging, or maybe try something a little bit different. Because right now I see him as a little bit too stiff, and you see what's coming. Even though they're power on both hands, you see it coming.
Tried to time that right hand. It was just over the top that time.
even by missing, you can see how heavy Hovhannesyan's hands are.
Very heavy-handed. Let's take a look at the CompuBox numbers right now. Halfway through that second round, sharp right hand. Hovhannesyan comes back and scores well against Cruz. Punch stats show Cruz landing 35%.
Cruz already found a great right hand home right there. So I think further down the road and into this fight, that's going to be a factor, because I don't know how many times Hovhannesyan's going to be able to take that shot. He's landing it clean.
Well, what's the answer if you're Hovhannesyan?
Don't stand so straight. He's a little bit too upright. Guys that usually punch really hard like to have a good stance, and they like to counter and wait for your opponent to do something wrong. The problem with that is that you stand too still, kind of like a Klitschko. They use their height, but they also get a lot of leverage behind that right hand.
Hovhannesyan firing off a heavy-handed 1-2 moments ago. You know what you're starting to have a discussion about is the Eastern European style, basically.
Yeah, a lot of great amateurs come out of Russia and Eastern Europe. But the bottom line is when they turn pro, they end up getting caught with those right hands or with looping left hooks or wide punches because they stand up too straight. The Olympic style of boxing really is a detriment to professional boxing.
Right. Much more active second round. Got a good one in our co-features. Stay with us. Cruz and Hovhannesyan headed to 3.
Here's the right hand I was telling you about, Joe. He stepped in with a jab and caught him flush. Hovhannesyan took it well. I'm surprised it didn't stun him even more. But as you can see, his right leg buckled, and it definitely hurt him.
A little later on in that second round, watch this right hand by Cruz.
That one was a little bit less impact because he looped it. The first one was a straight punch, but it was still an effective punch.
So round number 3 here. First time Cristobal Cruz has been in the ring in 15 months. His last fight was when he lost the IBF title to Orlando Salido. Of course, Salido himself has had success.
When it comes to a style like Cruz's, it doesn't matter how long you've been off. It matters when you're a boxer and you rely on timing and technique. That's when it's detrimental to a fighter. But as far as a banger like Cruz who switches styles and he doesn't care where he's fighting, against whom he's fighting, it doesn't matter. This guy fights anywhere, anytime.
Saturday night, ESPN heads to Canton, Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. 6 legendary players are going in, among them Marshall Faulk, Deion Sanders, Shannon Sharp. Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony on ESPN Saturday at 7 Eastern. Shannon Sharp, one of the all-time trash talkers in the NFL, headed to the Hall of Fame. We've got an all-time trash talking main event. Stay with us. You do not want to miss Vernon Paris, Tim Coleman. You don't want to miss some of the sound bites we're going to be running just before the fight itself. It's been an outrageous week preparing for these two. Tim Coleman yesterday here in the hotel at the Chumash Resort Casino was actually kicked out. Sergio, he's staying down at a motel a mile down the road preparing for his fight.
Luckily, he missed that punch. From what I hear, he hit his manager, because if he would have hit him, maybe there wouldn't have been a main event tonight.
Yeah, I think the Athletic Commission probably would have gotten involved at that point. So,
but I'm glad they kicked Coleman out and told him to relax, come back tomorrow, and do the fighting in the ring.
Good overhead shot of Cristobal Cruz here, getting on the attack against Art Hovhannesyan. Glad we're bringing this to you on ESPN 3D as well. It's been a sensational summer of the action coming to you on ESPN 3D. Of course, to find out how to get ESPN 3D, you can go to ESPN.com/3D. Cruz coming in. There was a sharp left hand.